You know, when you think about the start of a company like PayPal, you probably picture a bunch of smart people in a boardroom, right? Well, forget that. PayPal's origin story wasn't a meeting. It was a battle. A super chaotic, high-stakes merger that was so intense that people who actually lived through it, they could only describe it in one very specific, very dramatic way.
Yep, a Game of Thrones bloodbath. I mean, come on, that's not what you call a corporate merger, right? That's what you call a war. And what's wild is that this war, fought inside the walls of just one company, would, believe it or not, give birth to the future of Silicon Valley. So to really get how that happened, we've got to go back to the very beginning.
All right, so to get this battle, you have to picture the battlefield. We're talking the late 1990s, the absolute peak of the dot-com boom. The internet was basically the Wild West, and you had these two rival startups locked in this epic duel over who was going to own the future of online payments.
So, in one corner, you've got Elon Musk with his company, X.com. And his vision was huge, almost ridiculously ambitious. Build an entire internet bank from the ground up. Then, in the other corner, you have Peter Thiel and Max Levchin with their company, Confinity. And they had this one laser-focused product, a really simple, slick digital wallet called PayPal.
And the competition between them? Oh, it was absolutely ferocious. I mean, both companies were just burning through millions of dollars. Get this, they were paying people $10 just to sign up, all in this crazy race for customers. It was a total race to the bottom. And they pretty quickly realized, hey, we're going to bankrupt each other. So in March of 2000, these two bitter rivals did the one thing nobody expected. They merged.
But here's the thing, if they thought that merging was going to end the war, they were so wrong. All it did was move the battlefield indoors. And this, right here, is where the story gets really wild.
So yeah, the merger didn't create peace. It just created a brand new battlefield inside the company. Elon Musk was made the CEO, but the two sides, the old X.com folks and the Confinity folks, they clashed over everything. The name of the company, what kind of software to use. I mean, the infighting was so bad it was paralyzing the entire business. And then came the turning point. In September of 2000, while Musk was literally on a flight to his own honeymoon, the Confinity crew staged a boardroom coup. And just like that, boom, Musk was out, Peter Thiel was in. And then, less than 2 years after all that drama, eBay swoops in and buys the whole company for a cool $1.5 billion.
So, the war was finally over. The main players from both sides, they all walked away as multi-millionaires. And you know, for pretty much any other company on the planet, that would be the end of the story, right? A happy, super profitable ending. But this wasn't the end. Not even close. See, that sale to eBay, it wasn't a conclusion. It was a launch pad. It was the explosive beginning of something so much bigger than anyone, and I mean anyone, could have possibly imagined at the time. Because it turns out, the most valuable product to ever come out of PayPal, well, it wasn't PayPal. It was something else entirely.
It was the people. This group of people became so influential, they actually earned a nickname, the PayPal Mafia. Now, this was this super tight-knit network of former employees who took all that money from the eBay buyout, all the lessons they learned from the corporate war, and all their connections, and they immediately went out and started building the next generation of tech giants.
And look, what they built wasn't just a couple of successful companies here and there. No way. They founded a legitimate Silicon Valley dynasty, one that is still shaping our world in huge ways today. I mean, just take a look at this list. It's insane. The CEO who got kicked out, Elon Musk, yeah, he went on to found SpaceX and take over Tesla. Reid Hoffman, he created LinkedIn. Peter Thiel built the massive data company Palantir. And how about the guys who created YouTube? Yep, they were early PayPal engineers. The founders of Yelp, same exact story. This wasn't just a group of successful people. This was a concentration of world-changing talent like we've almost never seen before.
So when you really step back and you look at the collective impact of this group, the scale of their influence, it's honestly kind of hard to wrap your head around.
Think about this. The combined value of all the companies this one small group created is well over $1 trillion. $1 trillion. That is a staggering, mind-blowing amount of economic and cultural value that grew directly from the ashes of that one single chaotic merger. So why does any of this matter to you? Well, because this group didn't just build a few companies. They literally reshaped the entire landscape of modern technology. They created this powerful network of innovators and investors that, frankly, still dominates Silicon Valley to this day. And maybe most importantly, they proved that sometimes incredible value can come directly out of chaos and conflict. The reality is, a huge chunk of the internet we all use every single day was built by the veterans of this one single corporate war.
Look, that internal war for PayPal, by any normal standard, it was a messy, ugly failure. It was all about betrayal and backstabbing and infighting. But then you look at the trillion-dollar-plus legacy that it created, and you just have to ask yourself, was it really a failure, or was it maybe the single most successful failure in the entire history of technology?